time for a Gadget origin story. It all started with Andrew Tate's program, which in my opinion is an illegal pyramid scheme and cult targeting boys between 12 and 18 years old. It all started in July 2023. It was a simpler time. Gadget was just shitposting on Twitter with not a care in the world. I'd been following the case of Andrew and Tristan Tate with great interest. In January 2022, coinciding with the Top G's rise to fame, because of long COVID and POT syndrome, I'd become chronically ill, and therefore chronically online. For me, there was no escaping the Clown Brothers. For a long time, I'd been aware of Andrew Tate's online platform The Real World, formerly known as Hustlers University, due to videos by CoffeeZilla and others. I was seeing online that the general public had no idea that The Real World was still operating, and having seen that the Tate brothers were still promoting it on Twitter, I decided to dig up some current day Hustlers University promo videos to make a thread to show everyone. And that's really where it all started. What was supposed to be one thread snowballed when I saw just how The Real World was being promoted.
I post 3 to 5 stories every day of some kid that's not even in a freaking high school yet, making 3, 4 grand, 5 grand, 6 grand, 10 grand, sometimes 20 grand in a month.
Using the skills that I've learned inside the real world, I make around 2 to 3 grand every week. I'm 16.
I'm 13 years old. I've made $10,000 using The Real World.
I'm 15, done over 10K in revenue.
Little over 20K now for an 18-year-old.
The guy that's teaching you in the real world is actually making a bunch of money doing it right now.
Real world work for kids.
100%. Example, in the real world freelancing campus, I've got a guy, he's 14 years old, making $1,500 a month, all applying a side hustle that is taught within the freelancing campus. So if you are a kid, let's say 13, 14 plus, you 100% could find opportunities and skills that you can use to make money online, offline, etc. On top of that, you're going to be around a bunch of positivity that's going to fix your mindset. So instead of all your friends, they go out and they just play video games and all that, you're going to be learning actual skills that are going to make you a better person. You're going to be hitting the gym, you're going to be motivated, you're going to be inspired. So for sure.
I knew that the Tates had young kids in the Real World program, but the extent of it? This was all over YouTube, TikTok, X, every social media platform you can think of. Video after video after video of young kids saying how rich Andrew Tate was making them, or grown men telling young kids that Andrew Tate and The Real World were going to make you more money than your parents, your teachers, and break you free from the Matrix. You'll also notice that Andrew Tate himself didn't feature in these videos. Since the Top G social media ban in mid-2022, on TikTok especially, videos of Andrew himself get taken down very quick. They've used a number of alternatives to Andrew himself to promote The Real World, but there was one who was all over TikTok and appeared to be Andrew's heir apparent The Real World promo boy. Justin Waller, aka Jay Waller, was the perfect man for the job. He has no shame in relentlessly, blatantly promoting the Real World program to as young of an audience as possible.
Bro, first kid to have friends over and figure out a way to stay up all night making money. First kid to pay his parents' mortgage next month. I'll do a call with on my channel.
I'm 14, working on self-improvement and want to start making money. I thought about getting a job this summer and use it to fund a side hustle. Any tips?
If you're gonna make money, I would consider joining The Real World. It's only $50 a month. You can cut a couple lawns and make that.
Hi, I'm 12 years old and I joined The Real World. Can you give me advice, please?
Yeah, bro, go in there and listen to everything that Luke says. Go listen to all the professors and do exactly what they say and work your little ass off. You're 12 years old, you'll be fine, man.
14 and in TRW. My parents think TRW is dumb and want me to have a social life. Do you have any tips?
I don't agree with your parents Only because what are you going to do? Go hang out with some 14-year-olds, probably do some shit you're not supposed to be doing. In the real world, you're going to learn how to make money, and you're going to be stopping to do push-ups. It's a very good community. You are going to be hanging out with people in the range of your age at some level. I don't think your parents probably understand what the real world is fully. Maybe they will when you help them out with the bills.
Any of you guys that are thinking about joining the real world, I'm telling you, message me on Instagram, just7. I'm telling you, it's the best school on the planet. There's no school that is going to teach you literally how to make money today without charging you tens of thousands of dollars. For $50, a guy that is in that business that day, which a professor cannot say at an Ivy League school, this is how you make money. This is how I made money today. It is a fucking joke to think that any of you guys would go to college really at all with as good as the real world is. Like, I see it every day. I get messages every day. I'm like, I cannot believe this 13-year-old is making more money than his parents, and that he has to go to school and he can still do it. This kid is in like 6th, 7th grade in the real world making real money, and it's the most incredible thing.
These segments from Jay Waller, promoting the real world to really children, have been clipped up and posted all over TikTok, YouTube, X, every social media you can think of, hundreds if not thousands of times. Who's posting these videos, you might ask? I'll let Andrew tell you himself.
And in regards to the affiliate section, is one of the 18 ways. There's a 16-year-old kid making 45 grand a month from his TikTok. Because all he's done is, he's gone into Hustle University, he's joined. He say, okay, how do I get attention? I'm 16. I'm not a flawless orator. I don't have a life or life experiences which are interesting enough to be used in a podcast which are going to ever allow people to pay attention to me. Yep. But Tate does. So let me go and find all of Tate's old stuff. Let me chop it up. Let me make a TikTok for Tate. That gets attention. How do I monetize attention? Now people are on my page. How do I monetize it? Well, I can take my referral link. I'm in HU. Here, they can sign up, get 50% off my link. Boom. So he's taking attention, the attention that I generated. All he's done is chop up some TikTok clicks, monetized it, and he's making 45 grand a month. Do 16.
This section of the real world, the affiliate campus, is where the next major problems begin. The more I looked, the more the real world seemed reliant on this system where existing members produce content promoting the real world and Andrew Tate with affiliate links to recruit other members to join. What seemed pretty clear is that although the public was aware of the horrific crimes that Andrew was alleged of committing against women, this online platform, which I was pretty certain was exploiting young boys on a massive scale, was going under the radar. And as I mentioned previously, your boy Gadget had some time on his hands. So during this time in July 2023, I started a petition to stop Andrew Tate recruiting children into the real world and started posting heavily on social media and building my platform there. As I started gaining supporters for the petition, the question I wanted to answer was, what is the real world really? An MLM scheme? A pyramid scheme? A Ponzi scheme? After some time researching, I came to the opinion that the real world is a pyramid scheme masquerading as a multi-level marketing scheme, using the educational material to mask the fact that it is completely reliant on the affiliate campus to sustain itself. Before I stated this opinion publicly, I wanted to get a legal opinion. I reached out to Matthew Jury from McHugh Jury & Partners. Matthew's team is representing 4 of Andrew Tate's alleged victims of rape and physical assaults based in the UK. I was very grateful that Matthew was happy for his team to take a look over the evidence that I had collected and give their opinion on if the real world is illegal. After taking some time to look into it, they got back to me and revealed their findings.
You know, you're saying that to draw in your audience is almost like the love bombing. You draw in your audience and then you deliver your real message, right?
Which is be like me.
Be like me. And to be like me, join my real world. Join my Hustlers University, which are pyramid schemes, by the way, by any definition. At least, sorry, I should stress, my opinion, they're pyramid schemes. But actually,
it was looking pretty clear that we had an illegal pyramid scheme in the opinions of myself, Matthew Jury, and Bruce Rivers, who covered it on his channel. And Andrew Tate's inner circle made no secret of who the target demographic was. One of Tate's war room leaders, Miles Sonkin, aka Iggy, confirmed what was already obvious from the promotional material in this tweet from November 2022. School-age boys, 12 to 18. I had reached out to numerous journalists and media outlets looking for someone to help me bring the issue of Andrew Tate's program to a wider audience. Tim Hume is a reporter who's been covering extremism, conspiracy movements, and the manosphere. And from when my campaign and petition was in its infancy, he was the one who saw that this issue and story was of great public interest. During these early stages, a big focus of my campaign was the fact that Apple and Google were hosting the Real World app on their app stores, which, given what we now knew, was just mental. In preparation for his first story on the Real World, Tim reached out to both Apple and Google, and Matthew Jury also wrote to them with concern on behalf of his clients. On the 12th of December, we received some big news.
And actually, going off a little bit of a tangent, but we successfully had the Real World removed from the Apple Store because we alerted Apple to the fact that it was a pyramid scheme.
I bet he didn't like you for that.
I doubt it.
Is he aware?
This was big. As Tim reported, both Apple and Google removed the Real World apps from their app stores.
Andrew Tate was just banned, or more specifically, amid mounting pressure, Google removed Tate's The Real World app from the Play Store. And all of what we're seeing now comes after one man from Australia, Nathan Pope, launched an online petition to pressure Apple and Google to remove the app from their stores, as well as trying to pressure the companies that process online subscription payments for The Real World to stop working with the site on the grounds that it appears to be financially exploiting young men. And so the petition has over 9,000 signatures thus far, and while Google has pulled the app, Apple has yet to respond, which actually shocked Pope, who said in an interview, if they are being complicit in these potential crimes, it is important that the public is made aware. Also, besides,
Apple followed pretty shortly after Google. Although this was great, we still had a mountain to climb. The Real World program could be used on desktop, and there was still a tsunami of their promo videos all over social media. So I kept at it, campaigning, posting, and as I was doing this, I started to be contacted by young guys that had been in the real world. Guys who were in the program for a short period, or even long-term members of the program that were in leadership positions. And what I began to learn only made things worse, far worse. The environment that these kids were in was at best cult-like, but in my opinion, this is a full-blown cult. A lot of the sources who have given me information have had to remain anonymous, but one young guy from Egypt named Cantor was very open about his experience of going from full-blown Tate fanboy in the real world to realising that it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. He posted this thread in October 2023 sharing his experience. A cog in the wheel, that's the feeling I had, especially inside the affiliate marketing campus. That's your daily checklist inside, 3 to 6 videos per day. This will take you at least 12 to 14 hours. Weird rules/advice. Cut off sleep. No entertainment, even books considered entertainment. Only listen to like-minded people. Everyone else is in the matrix. Work every waking hour. Networking is prohibited. Leave your parents and live alone. Sounds like a cult, right? Yes it does. At this point, I've had countless young men and boys corroborate Cantor's story. A common theme is urging these kids to work extreme hours. As Cantor puts it, every waking hour. Sleep deprivation, a strategy commonly used within cults. Not only did I hear of this in testimonies of former members, but I was given evidence of this being encouraged inside the program from their leaders, or as they call them, professors.
The idea of rest is not real. I see some of you are here, it's 7 a.m., it's 2 a.m., whatever. Some of you woke up early in the morning, I love that. Because the idea of rest is completely stupid. Rest is not real. The only rest that is real is sleeping, and that's it. It's really just, you have stress throughout the entire day, it's stressful, you work, and then you sleep. It's rest and stress, rest, stress, work, sleep, there's no in between. Now I'm counting eating, I'm counting drinking, I'm talking to your mother also to work, but generally, the idea of rest is stupid. There's only one way to go through this journey of getting to the number one top at leaderboard, which is just you need to work always. There's no rest. If you decide, okay, let me go on TikTok, I need to rest a bit. Let me watch a YouTube video, let me rest a bit. Let me watch a movie, let me rest a bit. This is not rest. It may feel like rest for your brain, because your brain gets like stupid dopamine rushes from nothing. The only real rest is sleep. So, I want to first make sure everyone understands the idea of rest is bullshit. Complete garbage. The thing I just said is equally as important for those who are winning and those who are losing. If you're losing, you're not even allowed to rest for a little minute. Those who won, they are allowed to take a minute and be like, hey, I really did good here.
Let's talk about war mode now. Let's talk about the real reason we're all here. War mode is an extremely powerful concept. Now, sleep is important. Recovery is important. It is actually work, right? In order to have the strongest mental capacity as possible, you need to make sure you're getting some sleep. However, there are times where you can kind of get around that. You can leave sleep behind. I'm going to tell you how I personally do this. Now, this is not medical advice. Let's talk about what I call war mode. So every so often, maybe 2-3 times a month, I'll go into war mode. And war mode is where I take a short-term goal, right? I take a small, important goal, and I dedicate myself to it like an insane person for like 2 to 3 days, right? I'll work like crazy, I'll sleep very little, and then afterwards I'll go back to my normal, I'll have a serious recovery day, and then I'll go back to sort of my normal grind. My normal thing, I sleep, 6 to 7 hours a night, but when I go into war mode, what I'll do is I'll shift my sleep down from anywhere from like 3 to 4 hours a night, right? And I'm just pushing like crazy towards the goal. You can't do war mode without a goal, right? War mode is always about an objective. You go out, you push, you get the objective done, you sleep very little, and then you kind of recover. And I would do these sprints every so often. You can't do it forever, but that is how I do war mode. You could do it for a week, but you really start to see the diminishing returns in your brain, and you have to stop and have a recovery session, right? I pushed out to a week and a half. Maybe some of the times you guys have seen me kind of haggard. I've did war mode almost for a month a couple of times, and like it really can tear into you. But war mode is something you pull out every so often, again, 2-3 times a month, when you need to make key progress towards your goals. And for some reason, tapping into it and calling it war mode and thinking of it as a quick raid will massively improve your skills, will massively improve your output during that time. So that's war mode.
When we see these techniques of sleep deprivation, isolation, and indoctrination, I need to again emphasize that the target demographic for this program is school-age boys. My sources have confirmed for me that over 80% of the members are between 12 and 18 years old. Here is a video a 12-year-old boy posted inside the Real World program asking Andrew Tate if he's old enough to make money in the real world.
Hi Andrew, my name's Ryan and I'm 12 years old, and I was wondering if I'm old enough to start making money with the real world. Thanks, bye.
In the months following the article that saw the removal of the Real World apps, Tim began speaking with Cantor, the guy that posted the thread about leaving the real world. And I really need to give Cantor a shout out. Him being so open and honest about his experience was really brave and selfless, and without doubt has helped a lot of other young lads. On January 16th of this year, Tim released his article detailing Cantor's story of leaving the real world, under the title, Leaving the Real World, How I Escaped Andrew Tate's Get Rich Quick cult. Tim also covered my campaign in this follow-up article, and he personally reached out to YouTube and TikTok, letting them know what we had found to see if they were willing to take any action about the real world being promoted on their platforms. Prior to the article being released, they made it pretty clear that they didn't care. But this experience has taught me that there's one thing and one thing only that makes these companies uphold any sort of standards: negative media attention. 2 days after Tim's article, which made them look rather stupid, Tim released a major update. YouTube had done a mass culling of the real world recruitment channels and videos. Literally, billions of views worth of the real world promotional material, including the main channel for the real world, were gone overnight. There is no doubt, this was a major blow for the Tate brothers. One of their biggest recruitment streams, or perhaps their biggest source of income at the time, was gone. There was still some serious issues. The cowboy in the tight jeans, Justin Waller, somehow had his YouTube channel survive the purge. I made this known on my social media accounts, and to his credit, Tim didn't let up and continued to ask YouTube the question. And a few weeks later, on the 1st of February, the #1 channel that was producing promotional content for the real world, Jay Waller's YouTube channel, was nuked. Poor Justin has gone from being the biggest recruiter of children into the real world, with over 400,000 YouTube subscribers and 93 million views on his videos, to being relegated to recruiting children on Telegram and this pitiful Rumble channel. And this whole thing was really the birth of my YouTube channel. I originally started it in November 2023 to share updates on my campaign against the real world, and I've since also used it to post updates of Andrew Tate's criminal trials, clown on the likes of Fresh and Fit and Luke Belmar, and post fundraising updates for Matthew Jury's 4 clients who need help bringing Andrew Tate to court in the UK in a civil case for alleged rapes and physical assaults. As with all of my videos, I'll leave a link to the fundraiser in the description. Please help the women out if you can. And that brings us to where we are today. Starting with YouTube, they removed all these channels and videos, including that of Justin Waller, and that is fantastic. But YouTube and their CEO Neil Mohan still have an awful lot of explaining to do. They took the action they did due to horrible, negative media attention. But when Tim reached out and asked for clarification on the removal of these channels, they still refused to acknowledge the obvious fact that the real world breaches their terms of service. Not only that, when Tim reached out, the YouTube representative blatantly lied to him and tried to say that this action from YouTube happened a week before they spoke and had nothing to do with Tim's story. YouTube told Tim that these channels were removed because the initial The Real World channel had been terminated, not because the Real World program itself broke any of its rules. So YouTube still have no problem with self-confessed human traffickers recruiting 12-year-old boys into what looks to be a pyramid scheme cult using sleep deprivation techniques while indoctrinating them. YouTube still allows some of Andrew Tate's key War Room members, such as Jill Sullivan, Dylan Madden, and Sterling Cooper, to operate their YouTube channels while recruiting for both the Real World and the War Room. Now for Google. They removed the Real World app from the Play Store. Fantastic. However, they still allow Andrew Tate to use Google Ads to recruit kids into the real world. I've alerted them of this for months. I sent emails to a group of top Google executives, including their CEO, Sundar Pichai, which included evidence of what is happening in the real world that is being advertised through their platform. These executives saw my emails, and someone from their executive escalations team got back to me. After a series of emails where I offered to show my evidence in more detail, the Google representative named Rihanna ghosted me. So it appears Google, like YouTube, have no standards when it comes to making their platforms safe for children. As for TikTok and Instagram, they have absolutely no shame or standards. Through the whole process, both companies refused to respond to Tim for comments or take any action whatsoever. As for Rumble or X, I haven't bothered. The owners of both companies are so cool with the self-confessed human traffickers and give the Tates so much power that I figured focusing on them would not be a good use of my time, and I'll leave them till last. So the moral of the story is this is still a huge issue. Tate is still being allowed to recruit children freely. Once the kids are in there, his messaging is becoming more extremist. He's telling them in his emergency meeting streams that the Matrix is out to get you, they're going to poison you, they're going to kill you, your family, and your entire bloodline. I'll leave a link to my petition in the description. If you haven't already, please sign it and share it on all your social medias. And keep an eye on your email inbox for my regular updates. You can expect some big news to be shared in the coming months.
Hi Andrew, my name's Ryan and I'm 12 years old, and I was wondering if I'm old enough to start making money with the real world. Thanks, bye.